Alright guys, welcome back to Conquer & Commander. This is a two-headed giant commander game featuring my Aurelia the Warleader deck. For the complete deck list, go to puremtgo.com, look up Conquer & Commander. I'll also eventually get around to putting a link in the video description as well that'll take you to the deck list. This is a two-headed giant game. My partner is this Azusa Lost But Seeking deck. I like to occasionally just jump into these games just as sort of a change of pace to see what can happen. It's the same wide variety of opponents as you get when you just jump into a regular game. Luckily I have Azusa on my side this time, but in this game we're going up against Horde of Notions, which can be just about anything from 5-card control. And then the always dangerous Zur the Enchanter, and this is the guy we're mostly worried about. So I'm glad I've got Azusa on my team, because usually they come out hard and strong. We'll see what happens here. My opening hand actually has 4 lands, one of which is Ancient Tomb, which is always nice, plus a land tax. So if Horde ends up ramping at all, I should be good to go with the tax. So Azusa starts things off, and interestingly, she's got Hall of Gemstone in here. And pretty early on, she asks if the Hall is going to hurt me too much, and I say, you know what, I can play with the Hall. I'll be fine with that, because the Hall ends up limiting people to 1-colored mana. Everybody to that 1-colored mana as well. So while I do have some mana rocks like signets and runestones or keystones or whatever, I don't have a ton, so I'm limited to just 1 color. It doesn't hurt Azusa at all, but hopefully it'll end up hurting Horde and Zur a little bit. So anyways, Horde plays Wanderer's Twig to help out with his color. I end up drawing Mask of Memory, and I play first turn land tax, hoping that Horde can hit his second turn card or land drop. Everflowing Chalice for 1, Dimir Signet, and Zur has his lands. So I end up searching up 3 lands, and I draw Boros Fury Shield. I end up playing my Scalding Tarn and sacking it. And basically at this point, I just want to, and I put Grand Abolisher out there. So I don't actually have to dump any lands into my graveyard yet, but I will end up doing that soon. Now, because Horde has the Signet, he's able to play spells like Lore Scale Quaddle, which is a fun little card. But once you see that, you know he's got some sort of like proliferate or some sort of shenanigans coming. Zur gets around the Hall of Gemstone by playing Celestial Dawn. This card has a couple bugs that it doesn't completely work out, and you'll see one of them later on, but it ends up kind of hosing the Hall of Gemstone. It does slow down the Horde of Notions player a little bit. I only get 2 lands with land tax this turn, and then I put Mask of Memory in with the Grand Abolisher. The Mask is in there specifically just as an additional card draw option. I want to be able to sift through stuff and discard things, and at this point I don't mind discarding lands, and as a matter of fact I'm going to have to. And I forgot, my play space is up here instead of down here where it should be. That's the Sacred Foundry art. So this Azusa deck isn't completely like crazy like a lot of Azusa decks can be. It's a little more slow and controlling, but he is able to like put a bunch of lands out there this turn, along with Yavimaya Elder, which is always a good card. So the Quaddle gets a little bigger, and Vorel comes out, so obviously he's got some sort of counter shenanigans going on. Zur plays a Johnny's Chosen, which is a little goofy, but it ends up netting him a couple of extra little dudes. I draw True Conviction, and I end up playing Hero of Bladehold, giving my guys Battle Cry. And I thought it was possible he had a bunch of enchantments in his hand, and he does. So I was hoping he wouldn't block with the Chosen, and he does not. Which is good, because next turn I'll be able to cast my True Conviction. But anyways, their team is at 71. You know, they start at 80. We start at 80, and we're at 72 right now. But that's going to change over time. I dump some lands in order to get rid of him. He sacrifices his Elder to get a few more lands and draws another land. And ends up playing Lurking Predators, which is fun and it's a card that I haven't seen played too much recently. I think people just sort of forgot about it. So he adds a bunch of counters to the Quaddle, and we end up taking 6. I'm not too worried about that. We're at 66 now. Zur ends up playing Aura of Silence, and then sacrifices it to get rid of the Lurking Predators. And then he plays Dance of Many and copies my Abolisher. You can tell that this isn't a typical Zur deck either, because most Zur decks would have played their commander by now, and he has not yet. I'll be honest, I don't think he plays it the entire game. I might be wrong. I don't know. And we get hit for 3. That's fine. Whatever. So I go and I get 2 more lands from the land tax. I play True Conviction. We're at 61 right now, and I attack with these guys. And we're going to end up... He blocks with 2 guys, but it's not going to matter. We go up to 75. My Abolisher dies, but that's fine. Azusa Eternal Witnesses for Lurking Predators and plays it again. And dumps the last land in his hand. And now he's got no cards in hand. Meanwhile, I've got a full hand. He pumps the Quaddle up to 12-12. We take... Oh no, he blocks with the Witness. So we're still at 75. And they're at 62. This is one of the bugs. He couldn't pay the upkeep for his Dance of Many. That copied my Grand Abolisher. So he ends up losing his Abolisher. And then he plays Nevermore, and he names Aurelia. I'm not too concerned about that, especially because I can't even cast Aurelia right now, because Hall of Gemstone is still out there. So, fine, whatever. So I get 2 more lands, and then Hellrider. Then I go in for the attack, and Hellrider hurts them a little more. So we go up to 80, and they're at 52. We're at 84 now. And, you know, I've got a Johnny in my hand now, and Wing Shards, and some other stuff. I must have discarded Wing Shards. There's Thopter Assembly on his part. And Thopter Assembly, of course, only has to last a turn to get him a bunch of flyers. So the Quaddle right now is 13-13. But he plays Avatar of Woe instead of pumping it. Now, because he cast Avatar, Lurking Predators, Azusa's Lurking Predators hits Woodfall Primus, which blows up the Celestial Dawn. And I'm considering using my Path to Exile here to get rid of the Avatar, because the Avatar is just big and annoying. Nothing from Zur, except Enlightened. Oh, I Enlightened Tutor for Boris Signet, because I wanted the ability to make at least 1 red mana, even though it's not going to help me too much right now. You never know when that might come up. And I'm still using land tax every turn. I pretty much grab all the basics out of my library. There's Elspeth, and I give the Hellrider flying and make him huge and double strikey. And he condemns my Hellrider, which made me sad. But the Zur team still drops to 42, and we're up to 98. And then I path to exile the Avatar. He got the Thopter assembly to live, so he's got all the flying Thopters right now, but does not attack, letting me do all the heavy lifting here. There's Desecration Elemental. Gets Primordial Sage out for the Azusa player. Zur cannot be cast here, but he does cast Rhystic Study, which gets Kozilek out there for Azusa. Lurking Predators is good. People just forget about it. And then he also plays Glen Elandra Liege. You know, the problem is all it does is fly. You know, it'll pump your dudes, but it's really not enough, honestly. And Johnny's Chosen goes after Elspeth. And this was, you know, kind of a calculated risk on my part. I knew that Elspeth was going to take at least one hit. And I was assuming it was just going to be for 3. Oh yeah, but he's got Mystifying Maze here. And he mazes it. So the Chosen comes back. I don't even remember. I think I picked red or something. No, I picked white again. That's right, so I could do a Johnny. And I pay the tax for his Stick Study. And I put a Johnny's counter on the hero. And I attack. And he doesn't block for some reason. Just because he didn't want to lose his dudes. So they're down to 32. We're at 108. These are the things that I drew. I end up playing Stonehewer, and then I make a soldier token with that Elspeth. And then Azusa plays the Akroma's Memorial, and the Akroma's Memorial with Kozilek, while the Hollow Gemstone out there is enough to make these guys concede. And I can't really blame them. Especially because all these guys are going to be able to fly over and attack, and you know, they'd need like a Wrath effect or something. So there it is. That's the good thing about a two-headed giant, is that you can have people support you and help you out. And you know, the Hall of Gemstone really helped me be able to put the pressure on. Yeah. So it's a little something different. Hope you guys like that. And if you want more two-headed giant games, let me know in the comments. Alright? Thanks.